Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large block building that features custom missiles that can launch up to 50 kilometers away thanks to the relay system and thanks to the small companionship that comes along with the design. So this place that I'm currently standing on top of is called the Orbital Strike Outpost, which is this lovely thing over here. So this is a very lightly armed outpost. As you can see, we've got a few guns around the outside, we've got a ship with interior turret on top to blast your enemies with, but most importantly, that ship is your target designator, so you fly over to an enemy, a static enemy, you can't use this against moving targets, but then you lock onto it, you hit the action relay twice as a safety system, and then 5 missiles will launch out of the tubes up here, they'll fly up into space, yes, they go all the way up to about 0.10 Gs, and then they'll realign themselves, cruise along until they're above their destination, then they'll go straight down and slam straight into it. Unlike a lot of traditional missiles I've showcased on this channel, they'll simply launch out of the tubes, detect the enemy, then beeline straight for them, either slamming into the stuff in the way or trying to actively avoid it. No, these go up into space and then come all the way back down. Now, because that will take quite a long time, what I have done and what I have tested to make sure it still all works correctly, it's added in the mod that increases the speed limit from 100 meters per second to 400 meters per second, and that does greatly help with showcasing this design. But anyway, what we're going to do before I actually launch the missile is show you around the outside of the small ship. They're going to take the small ship over to the space pirates which is sitting in the distance, the district headquarters. I'm going to lock onto it, I'm going to launch the missiles, and my nice little volunteer over here is then going to follow one of the missiles by using the auto dampeners, and I'm just going to let him go all the way up. While he's travelling up into space, we'll have a look around the outside of the building, then hopefully once we're done with that, we then go back to that character and follow him to the very end. So yes, grabbing hold of this character and moving him away, there we go, with the free camera once again and hiding all the signals. Now going to take a look at this ship. So this ship is nothing to write home about, it's a very hard thing to fly because the thrusters are not quite enough to actually make it fly in all directions safely, so if you start to move down towards the ground very quickly, it will most likely not be able to stop itself in time before you hit ground. But no, it's made out of a bunch of rusted steel blocks. Around here we've got a lovely little bridge to sit inside and actually fly it around. There we go, there's our other volunteer sitting in the lovely new bridge helm blocks. Yes, around here onto the side. There we go, we've got some flat atmospheric thrusters for our backwards and forwards. There's some for the sides. Round towards the back, we then got an action relay and antenna. Then all the way down underneath it, there's a magnetic plate and connector to dock it up. Down below there's your doorway to get up and inside. All the way up looking down. There we go, there's your interior turret on top. And that's about it for the ship. So grabbing hold of that character sitting in there, there we go, I want to power this on, undo that, and away we go. So yes, this thing is very sluggish in all directions, but no, we're now going to free camera all the way over to the space pirates, wherever they are, there they are, all the way across. There we go, that'll do quite nicely, dropping them down, and else facing towards wherever they are. There we go. Now what we're going to do is fly into their lock-on range, which should be any time now. Being very careful, as you can see there, moving towards this thing is incredibly slow, although it might look a lot slower than it actually is due to the speed limit. But there we go, there's the lock on. I'm going to start locking onto it. There we go, we're now ready to go. Just going to make sure I'm actually aiming at the correct target. I want to aim down at the ground below it. And yes, the camera is upside down, so this is quite difficult to aim. That should do okay there. So coming out of that, pressing number 5, there we go. We now got a chat message saying ready. We press it again, and now the missiles have launched. Grabbing this character and putting on his jetpack. Out comes the missiles. Oop, don't want to do that, want to press that one. And there we go, I'm now going to follow this missile all the way up into space. But while it's doing that, while it's traveling all the way up in the air, it's now time to grab hold of this other character and go around the outside. Or, in fact, I need to have the free camera over here, not the character. And here we are with the free camera back over the outpost. So yes, the ship is going to stay next to the space pirates, the missiles are in the air along with the character. And here we are for the outside of the Orbital Strike Outpost. So we're going to start over on this section right here. This will do quite nicely. And what we've got is a bunch of hazskin around the bottom, and then some concrete steel blocks to make up the bottom half of the building. Up here we then see a few windows appear inside of where our missiles can be created. And yes, we can just keep building these up and pumping these out if that's what we want to do. As you can see here, this is where they're all going to be built up with the welder. Then into here is where they're actually going to be placed and get ready to launch out those tubes up there. And yes, you can launch as many as you want once they're built. It's entirely up to you. Round onto this section, not much else to talk about, just some more hazskin around the bottom, some grease beam blocks going up to those windows, and you've got a rusty little conveyor that comes off this large cargo container, so you could, if you want to, build this in survival mode, just fill up everything you need into that container, then have it all built up and send them on their way. Then above here, we've got some more beam blocks going all the way around our artillery turret up there, Over and behind it, we then got an action relay and antenna once again, with some great use of our corner truss box coming all the way down and to the bottom, adding us a small support. Then over on this part, this could be your missile tubes that will open up and launch all the way out, with a few little conveyor caps sitting on the edge there, some extra decoration. Over on this part and around, we've got some steps to go up inside the building. Over on this side, we then got a survival kit to respawn on, then got some floodlights to shine down onto the chip that would be on the pad when you spawned it in. Then onto this section, we've got a little walkway that goes all the way up, past some barrels, next to an interior turret. We've got a few little bits and pieces to store a few bits and bobs inside. Looking up and around, and there we go. And as for the pad itself, this is what we get. So you could, if you want to, store a land vehicle on here if you want to do that, or maybe a much larger ship. Anyway, down like so. There we go for this side. Then around on the pad. There we are. Drop it down underneath it. So we can see a few little bits and pieces of what's going on, as well as a way to actually connect up to a much more bigger structure to link everything together if that's what we want to do. And I believe with that, that's a very brief look around the outside of the Orbital Strike Outpost. Now we'll check in on how my guy is doing with the missile. We are now at 0.27 Gs of gravity, and here we are all the way up and above. As you can see, we're going to keep going up until we hit 0.10, which is when they're going to start to go horizontal, fly over to the Space Pirate headquarters. Then once they're above it, they'll then go vertically all the way down, and then just go and strike it straight down as fast as possible as a way to try and overwhelm any kind of defenses it has. Anyway, back into this, everything's all nice and chill over here. So back over to here, now have a look around on foot. So up on the landing pad, this is what's like compared to the engineer. And of course, we can always come over to the survival kit to recharge yourself on, and of course to respawn yourself. Up and around, up onto this section, here we go. It's like a small little garage place where I suppose if you really want to, you could remove these steps right here, put a ramp, and store a land vehicle inside. Yes, we can open up this, store stuff inside if you want to do that, or just put stuff inside these if you want to do that as well. And of course, we'll come all the way over to this part, all the way around. This is a very tiny interior, which is basically just a small little section. But in here, we've got our instructions for how to actually use the missiles. So we say we use a scout ship with an antenna and an action relay. The missiles have a maximum range of 50 kilometers because they have to be within that range of this building. And of course, down there, we've got to press it twice for a safety system. So if you only press it once, they will not launch, and the system will reset after a short amount of time. Yes, come past this air vent, past this battery, open up this doorway, and here we are with missile tubes to actually see what's going on, and to fix any kind of issues such as the missile tube is jammed, and need to be welded up, or grinded up, and removed. Yes, with that, finding my character wherever he's gone, here he is. Where has he been left? It looks like he has been sort of left behind. Oh, no he hasn't, and there we are, that's actually absolutely perfect. We have just seen it as it was to go into its horizontal position to start travelling along towards the Space Pirate headquarters. That's absolute perfect timing of that. I was quite afraid I was going to miss it, but no, there we are, 0.10 Gs, and now it's gone horizontal, and we'll start to cruise along towards its destination, which is about 40 kilometers away. So yes, this thing is going to fly for quite some time, but it shouldn't take too long, although this will be the longest part of the journey, going all the way up to the sky. It can go up to 400 meters per second, but when it's actually cruising towards its destination like so, it will take quite some time because it's going to limit itself to 100 meters per second. And with that, that's basically it for the outside, the inside, what the building looks like, what the ship can do, and what that looks like. So all we've got to do now is just sit here and cruise along with this missile until it reaches its destination, which I'll do by speeding up this clip. I'm not going to make you sit through all of this because it's going to take quite some time. Yes, I will cut back and we'll watch it when it actually gets close to the target. So here we go, we are now rapidly approaching the Space Pirate Disparate headquarters at 400 meters per second. I have a feeling it's going to whiff the target once again. Yes, it is going to go straight for me, I think. I think it's going to go straight for the scout ship, which is what I did during one of my testing before I started recording. We're going to go all the way down to the ground, which is kind of a shame. I'm not too sure why it does this. I'm kind of thinking maybe just deloads the actual time block. As you see there, it did try to change itself, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But then there goes all the rest of the missiles extremely fast to the ground. There goes another one. So I'm not actually too sure why it does this occasionally. It seems very odd, and it's not because of the actual speed limit mod. No, during my testing with the actual vanilla settings, it did the same thing on one other occasion. So I'm not too sure what's going on. It might be because I was flicking between cameras, and maybe the missiles and the information they had got a bit confused, maybe deloaded at some point, and just went back to a default location for whatever reason, and just slammed into the ground. But no, the Space Pirate headquarters gets to live for another day wherever it's gone. There it is right there. That is quite a bad whiff. Yes, like I said earlier, it seems to go for the actual ship itself, rather than actually go for the target I locked onto. Anyway, with that, that's pretty much it for the Orbital Strike Station has to offer. It's a fantastic little thing to play around with if you do want to play with some incredibly long-range missiles to launch at your enemies. Remember to launch multiple at the same time, not just the same 5 all at once, just in case you do whiff the target, like you saw in this video. It's kind of a shame they actually did that, because that's the way we're actually tracking it all the way through. But anyway, there'll be a link to the description below to which you download the play around yourself, as well as a link to the Skybox I'm currently using. I believe it is called Christmas Lights. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.